Hello, computer science students. Today we are going to go over insertion sort part 2 and talk about the speed efficiency, right? Do a little big O notation and a little bit of timing like we did before. One of the questions we want to answer is which is better, insertion or selection sort, like which one's faster, all right? And again, there's a million different ones. We might talk a little bit about some of the other ones. Again, huge fan of counting sort. Maybe we'll talk a little bit about that one today. But anyways, before we get too far into this, I thought it'd be good to review how insertion sort works relative to selection sort. So go ahead and pause the video here and just talk through what would insertion sort look like if you were sorting these cards. All right, so how it works is the first spot is considered sorted right away. It's just one item, so it's in order by default. And then it takes the next card over and says, I want to insert it into the sorted list. So we basically bring it down and say, okay, is this one bigger? If it is, shift it over. And then if we hit the 0 position, we know that the 7 has to go there. Nothing else to compare against. Right now we have 2 sorted items. We bring down the next one and say, okay, is this one bigger? Yep, so we shift it over. And then how do I compare to the 7? Nope, I'm bigger than the 7, so I'm going to slide into place right there. Right, so that actually is still 2 comparisons that you compared against the 10 and the 7, even though we didn't shift the 7. All right, and then I'll go kind of speed mode now. The 2 goes down here, and it's going to do 1 comparison, 2 comparisons, 3 comparisons, and then boom, it's in place, right? Once you get to the end, right, once you get to 0, you just put it there. And then sometimes in insertion sort you get lucky like this, and the queen comes down, and you'd say, oh, nope, I'm bigger than the 10, so I go right back to my home, right? So I only had to do 1 comparison there against the 10. And then the 5 is kind of unlucky. I think you actually end up comparing against all of them. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then again, you do compare to the 2 to know that you slide in that place. So it's going to do all 5 comparisons in that case. All right, and so I'm going to re-scramble the cards here in a second, but talk about then think, is that going to be better or worse than how selection sort works, right? So re-scrambled the cards here, and so now if I think about how selection sort works, is I have to say, okay, I want to select the smallest one here, and so the deal with selection sort is even though 2 is the smallest, you can see that, the computer doesn't know that. It has to check against everything, go through and say, hey, is it the min or not? And it only knows it's the min when you've checked all the positions. All right, and then it's a little bit better the second time through because we don't have to check the first spot anymore once we've got the min there. Then we just search through the rest of them for the min of the remaining ones. So it's a little bit more efficient then. So if you haven't already, pause the video and try and think through which one is better. All right, so in Mr. Raspatal's opinion, I think insertion is better because sometimes you get lucky and you don't have to do a lot of comparisons, right? Versus selection, you go through all the way to the end and compare every single time. So there's no savings, right? So I think insertion has a possibility of being better, but there's just certainly no guarantee of that. Okay, so to analyze this a little bit more with the big O notation, again, I'm going to do this very informally. Like, I don't want to get down to really the difference between n minus 1 and n loops. It really doesn't matter, right? So like technically this loop out here, I think will run n minus 1 times an insertion sort, right? That's going through the different positions. And then we do position I is the thing we're trying to insert, and we check the possible index going backwards as long as that's greater than or equal to 0, and our insert item is less than the thing we're checking against. We're going to shift it over and adjust possible index. So in the very, very broad sense, again, we have a loop inside of a loop, all right? So when that happens, I know this really doesn't run n times, right? In fact, it might just run once. This while loop could run just 1 time, and actually probably runs on average, maybe even half n or even less than that probably. But more or less, because it's a loop inside a loop, it's going to be an n squared for big O notation, all right? And so again, kind of, if you want the official one, I think this formula is actually a little bit better than the one that we had for selection sort, right? But in the grand scheme of things, all that really matters is that it's n squared. So like insertion and selection are pretty similar, all right? Because that chart we had from before, as n gets big, it's just the n squared is what's going to matter. So again, even in our simplest example, when we have 10,000 term today, this would be a bunch of zeros, right? If we do n squared, get the right number of zeros, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and we have one more zero there, divided by 2 minus 10,000 divided by 2, but that part is so little, right? This part here is so little in comparison to the n squared part, so it really doesn't even matter, and all that really matters is that this is an n squared algorithm. All right, so to understand really what this n squared means, I think this is a really important question. So say that we did 1,000 items and took 3 milliseconds for insertion sort to sort them. Right, so in general, if we were to double that, all right, how much time would it take, right? If 1,000 items for 3 seconds, how many seconds would it be for 2,000 items? All right, pause, think it through. Okay, and so what the answer is, because it is a squared algorithm, like you think that this is twice as much. So normally you would think, well, this is just double also, but that would be if it was like a linear relationship, all right, or a proportional relationship is another way to say that. And so what happens is you actually have to take this factor of 2 and square it, and that's how much the time increases by. And because it's n squared, it'll actually take 4 times as much time, not twice as much, right? And so this would end up being about 12 milliseconds. Okay, one more time, then pause it and think through, what if we made it 8 times as much? Okay, how would that affect 8 times as many items? How would that affect the time? Okay, and so hopefully what you're figuring out is that because it's a squared pattern, even though it's just, this is 8 times as much here, you have to square that. So instead of 8 times as much, it's going to be 64 times as much as before. So to figure this out, we do 3 times 64, which I think, I'm a little tired, but I think that'd be 192 milliseconds. Okay, so you can see that it doesn't go up in a linear pattern, it increases, right? The graph, because it's a squared, is going to go like this. And so then as n gets big down here, the time is going to go up considerably as you get more items, right? A linear one would be much better, right? It'd look like that and stay kind of flat. Counting sort is actually linear, so it's a much better, much faster as n gets big. All right, before getting to today's main activity, I just wanted to show you a couple fun things I found online about sorting. I find these kind of interesting. These are all the different ones, all right? And you can see, let's see if we can find our sorting algorithms here. Here's insertion sort and selection sort. You can see in the best case, insertion sort actually does pretty well. That's when they're already in order, right? There's not a lot of comparisons there. But then for the most part, they're considered n squared. And this actually talks about space too, but we're really just doing about time and comparisons. You can see they're pretty bad. They're in red here, they're pretty bad. So in real life, things are sorted with something like counting sort or radix sort, which are really, really fast. Bucket sort, I'm surprised, is bad here, but I think bucket sort's actually a pretty good one too. But you can see these are actually linear ones, right? And so they're much, much better than selection and insertion. All right, another fun thing is I'll post this out to Schoology. This is a video that like gives you a visualization of the different sorting methods, kind of make some noises too. This would be something if you want to check out in your spare time, knock yourself out. What it looks like, I'll play it here a little bit, is it's just a visualization. Probably give you a seizure or something, but well, maybe I'll skip of all the different sorting ones. So I figured that one was. That was selection. Here's insertion sort. You can kind of see what's happening. I don't think it gives a great visualization what's happening, but if you want to just see the different types of sorts, it kind of runs through them all in a weird way. So I'll post the link to this again in case you're interested in checking it out. Make some crazy noises too while it's going. Geez, insertion sort. I look so hot here, it's taking forever to run, but it might not be accurate for actual time. Move quick sort. Where did quicksort go? I don't really know how this one works, but you can look all these up if you want. Quicksort looks much faster than insertion. All right, I'm not going to play the whole thing. So getting on to the activity I would like you to do today is very, very similar to what we did before, except with insertion sort. So there's a link again to the starter code, right? I put it right in the folder for today, and you just have to get the new file called insertion sort timing, and it's the exact same thing before, is run it with 10,000, record the time, run it with 20,000, change it to 20,000, record the time, right? And you have to make a little table like this again for 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, right? Record the times in here, and then we'll make the graph on Desmo. So I'll show you how to do that. But for now, just I'll get the starter code. All right, here selection sort's still open, but all right, but open up insertion sort timing and just do the different amounts, right? So start with 10,000, run it. Again, mine's not going to be super accurate now because I got too much crap running on my computer. So any rate, you can then compare it to selection, right? If you want to run selection with some number of items, or if you have the values, if you remember them from before, you can kind of compare it and see. We thought insertion should be better. So again, you can kind of run it, record them in the table, and then compare back to your selection sort table, right? And then all you got to do again is change the items. So change the items and then get a new value for your table. And again, mine's running real slow here because I got too much stuff going on. All right, but complete the table, and then we'll talk about how to graph it to see if it actually makes an n-squared shape. Okay, once you got your table done, we're just going to graph it on Desmos. The steps again, you do add item to a table, and then you start typing them in. So our values are 10,000, 20,000, 30, 40, 50, 60. Oh, that's pretty slick. Put it in there, and then just do your time. So whatever you got here, right? These are probably going to be pretty small values. Okay. So I kind of sped through them there, but those are my points. And I think they are a little bit faster than what I had for selections. So, and as we thought, a little bit faster. And if you actually want to see the graph, you just have to change the grid. So I'm going to hit this little wrench up here and then make my x-axis fit my data. So I'm going to go from 0 to about 70,000. We do 60,000, but I'm going to do 70. And for y, I'm just going to go from 0 to 2 or something to hopefully give me a good picture of it. Okay, and then I'm going to click and scroll it around a little bit, and hopefully we can see we got a nice curve going there. And I think it would, again, follow a squared pattern because it is a squared algorithm. Okay, so obviously do your own data because you have a different computer than me. See, maybe your numbers are faster, maybe they're slower, but see if you get a nice curve like this. Most years I have most kids get this, so it's kind of interesting to see that they get something pretty similar to this. All right, final thing I have is I'm going to give you one AP question to consider, right? All right, insertion sort. So this one even says it's insertion sort. So I'm going to put this out, and there's a link in the folder for doing this one question, just to kind of see where you're at, see if you're making some sense of this stuff. All right, that's it. Thank you for watching.